Hey there folks, today we are taking a look at the game Azul. This is one of my favorite tile placement games. It's a little bit different than some others, but really pretty game, really cool components, and fairly straightforward, so we should be able to get you started and going fairly quickly. So there is that. We'll also do some tips at the end. So if you stick around to the end, you'll see those tips as well to hopefully play a little bit better, maybe a little more fluid, get things off to a good start, that kind of thing, and hopefully score some good points as well. So that is Azul. If you do like this video, please do like and subscribe, share, whatever. That helps me a lot. So if you want to help me out, or if you just want to see more of this type of content, go ahead and do that accordingly. But let's go ahead and dive right on in. All right, so the setup of Azul, you're going to have one of these mats for each player, and this is the side you're going to want to start with if you haven't played. Once you've played a few games, you can flip it around and you can see that this is basically grayed out, pretty blank. It's going to have the sections for each of those, but you can still you can put each of these tiles wherever you want within some following rules. This is just to help you as you're playing the game the first handful of times, and so this is going to be kind of the basic side, and then you've got the advanced if you wanted to have a little more freedom with that. You're going to get a little black cube right here. That's going to be your marker for your score. And then depending on how many players you're playing with, you're going to have these tiles that you're going to put out. These tiles, these plates, I believe is what they're called. And then you're going to put 4 of these tiles from the bag onto each one of these. So for a 2-player game, we're going to have 5 of these. So I set 5 of them out there. And then this is going to go into the middle right here. That's a broken tile. The first person to take out of the middle is going to take that as well. And it's going to score against you. But there is a benefits to taking out of the middle. So on your turn, what you're going to do is you're going to take tiles that are all the same. So looking out and around here, we could take these 3 right here. So these 3 are all the same, and so any other tiles on here, in this case just the one, is going to go into the middle. So we're going to take all 3 of these, and then we're going to put them on our board somewhere, and we could put these anywhere. If we wanted to put it at the top, we could, but since there's only one space, these 2 would be broken tiles that would count against us right there, so we don't want to do that. If we wanted to, we could just fill in this row right here. Or if we wanted to go down here to the bottom, there's 5 spaces here, and so you're trying to fill in as many spaces as you can. So let's go ahead and just take those right there. Let's say the next person decided they wanted these 2 blues, so then these are going to come into the middle. And we want to take these last 2 right here, so those are going to go into the middle, and we'll take these 2 right here. So we've completed this bottom row. That's going to be good because that's hard to get, so very nicely done. We're off to a good start there. The next person decides, oh, they want these 2 reds, so they're going to take the 2 reds. These are going to go into the middle, and then we decide that we want the oranges. So we're going to take these 3 oranges, and since we're the first to take out of the middle, we have to take this tile as well. So we're going to take all of these. This is going to be a broken tile, so that'll be -1 point, but I think it's worth taking because we got these right here. Let's go ahead and just put them right here on the 3. So that's where we're at right there. And then they decide, oh, well, I can take these for free now because there's not the this one tile in the middle anymore, so they could take these for free. We decide, oh, let's go ahead and just take this one here, put it on the board in the 1 spot, and then these 2 would go into the middle. And then they wanted these 2. Let's say we cannot take this. We could take it, but we don't want to take it, I don't think. Oh, let's take that right there. Go right there. They'll take this, we'll take that. All right. So there is how we would end the very first round. I'm hoping that just showing you and walking you through it is going to show you a little bit better how to play. So after each round, any row that is complete, this row right here is complete, we're going to put 1 right there, move it onto its spot that's the exact same. All the rest of these are going to move out, and then we will shuffle them back into the bag once we go through the entire bag. This right here is a full row, so it'll go there. These will go off. This one right here is a full row. It'll go on. And then these two are just going to stay right there for now. And so those will carry over to the next round because they weren't completed during this round. So that's how that's going to work. And then for scoring, you're going to get points for everything basically that's touching. So this right here is just going to be 1 point. That's 1 point, and that's 1. So we're 3 points minus our 1. So we got 2 points this round. That might not seem like very many, and it's because it's not, but we are going to have an opportunity to kind of multiply later on and different things like that. So one other thing to keep in mind is because we've already used this type in this row, this type in this row, and this type in this row, we can no longer collect the same types in future rounds. We can't put these yellows right here in the middle because we've already got yellows there, so there's nowhere to put it. So you have to carry on with a different pattern than you already have on there. You get 10 points if you have all 5 of these. So if we have this symbol, this tile, that symbol on each of these rows, then we would get 10 points for that. Or if we had a complete row, or column, excuse me, a complete column up and down, you get 7 points for that, and then you get 2 points, and that's what triggers the game end. You get 2 points when you complete an entire row. So that's when the game ends, that's what triggers the game end. So that's going to be the last round as soon as that happens. You do finish the round still. All right, so we would reset the round, reset for the next round, and put 4 of these tiles randomly from the bag. You want to keep the ones you use separate from the ones in the bag just to keep the numbers consistent. And so once you run out in the bag, then you'll take all these and put them back in the bag. Well, we got 4 back out. We're going to start the next round. The person that had this 1 token from last round is going to be the focus, you could do it, focus. The person that had the 1 token from last round is going to be the one to start the next round. So since we took it, we get to start the next round. And what we could do is we could take these 2 right here, go like that. These would go in the middle, and then we could take this one, complete that row for the end of the round. And you carry on the game as follows, basically. So one other thing to note, I'm going to show you a little bit for the scoring, because this is where things start to get a little more crazy. You get a little more points, that kind of stuff, and it's really pretty helpful. So let's say that we ended like this after a couple more rounds. This is going to count as 1 because it's just by itself, but then this right here is going to count for 2. So that's 1, 2. And then this, you're counting all the rows and the columns. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So hopefully all of that made sense, but I'm going to run through it one more time because I know it can be a little, it can seem a little more difficult than it really is. So for each of these, you're going to score for each row and column it's in. So let's count just the rows. That's going to be 1, 2, points right there. This is going to be 1, 2 points right there. And this is going to be 1, 2 points right there. This column is just going to be the 1. And then this is going to be 3. 1, 2, 3. And then this is going to be 1, 2. So you can count it like that if you want. Now it should be worth mentioning, it is worth mentioning, that this right here is not going to score for a row and a column since it's just by itself. So any single one is just going to count as 1. And like I said earlier, the game is going to end when someone has completed a row. So when a row is completed like that, tell the rest of the board, tell the rest of the table, hey, I went ahead and finished a row there, so this will be the last round. Go ahead and finish out the round, and then count up your scoring. You're going to move this cube in between each round as well for your scoring. So that is how you play Azul. Very straightforward, very simple. If ever you get to a point where you cannot put any colors, like let's say I had a blue here and here and here. Let's say this was the end of the game, like this, and then someone takes the 3 snowflake ones. I'm left with the 2 blues. I have to take these, but I can't put them anywhere because I already have blues in every single area. So if ever you can't add them, you put them down here on the broken tiles section. Now, like I said before as well, if you wanted to, like if there were 2 in the middle right there and we had to take them, we could put one up here if we had not completed that, and then the other one that we can't play is going to go down here, and that will count as negative. But at the end of the round, that would go on just like so for all the completed rows. And that is how you play Azul. That should give you everything you need to get started. All right, guys, that is Azul. Let's go ahead and dive on into some tips for you. So a couple of things. One, the back of the board, if you're looking to score heavy points, and you're getting into it a little bit more, I would say look at the back. But I'm assuming that people that are watching a how-to video are going to want to use the front, and I would recommend using the front for your first handful of games until you feel like you get a sense of it. But what you want to keep in mind and look for is the combination of the rows and columns. That's really where you can get off to a better start or a worse start. So do keep that in mind. If you're able to, for instance, maybe get this blue right here, and then if you're able to get 2 of these, if you're able to get 1 of those blues and then 2 of these, then you can see when those come over, those are in a line. So you're getting 2 points for that instead of just the 1, which I guess if it was somewhere else in the first round. But it'll help you out later on. So do try and get those as quickly as you can. Those rows and columns are really going to help you out with your score quite a bit if you focus on those early on in the game especially. Another thing is a lot of people try to go for these 5s as hard as they can. And while it can be really good and there can definitely be some benefits, especially if you get 5 of the same symbol, 1 in each of these rows, then you get 10 bonus points. That's the most bonus points you can get in the game for anything. So that's extremely helpful. But if you're able to get a whole column, you get 7 points. And then when you add up the scores, because of the way the board is oriented, you're able to get points for the rows as well with the normal scoring. So you get 7 points, plus you get another 5 points for that column being completed because you count up the score the way that we mentioned already. And so that can be really helpful. That's 12 points. So if you're tracking with me, the main thing I'm trying to say is don't neglect the rows and columns. Try to get as many of these pieces as close together as you can. And so if you're starting out and you're on this corner, you've got something like this. A 2 by 2 is worth 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points. So it can really start to multiply if you have all your stuff in a clump as opposed to just all over the place. So you really want to try and have a clump if you can and then kind of branch off of that and work your way out. That's going to give you more points in this particular game. Another thing is sometimes you can play a speed round, and so you can take one different one on the top and you can finish the game in 5 rounds. And so if you play smart, you can make it a lower point game, but you can be just a little bit ahead if you want to play that way. Or if you want to just go for big money, you can go for the bottom here and try and get those things. But I feel like in this game, focusing on the bottom as a main thing, it's not as helpful as it seems. It seems like it's extremely helpful, and it is, but it's not as helpful as it seems, in my opinion. I'm not a professional. These are just general tips. Hopefully that helps you guys out. Fun game. Hope you enjoy it. Let me know what you think. That is Azul. Thank you very much.